Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 122 of PD's Awesome Guest Panel. Now, before I introduce tonight's legendary, iconic, one of the best things of all time, before I introduce this gentleman, I want to introduce tonight's co-host for the evening, both Pokemon fans growing up. First off, we have Christopher Patty.
Hey, yo.
You're the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, man. And of course, joining us tonight, a good friend from Johnny Old England, my good friend, Kwame Jacobs.
What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since I've been here. I've been going through stuff. I don't want to say it, but it's personal, but I'm glad to be back. Feels good to be co-hosting again.
We're glad to have you back, man. Now, before I introduce tonight's co-host, I just want to say this gentleman not only has the voice of an angel, but he has the voice of a rock god. He's best known for singing the original song from the original Pokemon series. And he, like I said, this guy, if saints can walk this earth, this was playing this gentleman. My guest at this time is Pokemon legend himself, Mr. Jason Paige. Jason, welcome. How are you today, sir?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going, dudes?
We're doing fantastical, and your sign says voice of a generation. You're not only the voice of a generation, but you're a voice of our childhood.
Thank you. Yes, somebody said thank you for my childhood. And I was like, no, thank your parents for your childhood. But then I realized, wow, some people spend more time with Pokemon than they do with their parents. And the whole time, it's the song underlying all of their gameplay and their imaginations and how they conduct themselves in a Pokemon ecosystem. I'm Moses with the 10 Commandments of Pokemon. To be the very best like no one ever was. To catch them is your real test, and train them is your cause. And these are the things that governed a child's imaginative play. And I wasn't a part of it. I was just the voice that brought the message. And now that you guys have grown up and you're adults, thank you for reaching out. I'm glad you did, but keep that alive in your imagination, because that's where it's really fertile. You don't want to associate it too much with me, because all of these things that I've done, they're done, most of them are for the project. They're not for me. They're for you. They're for the motive. They're for whatever they're trying to communicate. And in Pokemon's case, it's, kind of the voice of Ash, I would say, who's telling the story of being the very best. And his best friends are Pokemon, and he's helping them understand the power that's inside. So serving the motive. And that's why we're here, because of your love and your Pokemon sort of lives that you lived. So profound gratitude for you and all the time and energy you put into the Pokemon world.
Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to catch up.
Thank you, sir. Before we get to the questions, like you said, without our parents, we wouldn't have the Pokemon love. Like, if it wasn't for our parents, getting us the Pokemon games and stuff. So I have a huge appreciation for my parents. Chris, you have appreciation for yours, and Kwame, you have appreciation for yours as well.
Yeah, it's funny, because parents at some point, they were trying to stop their kids from doing Pokemon. They were banning it in schools, and they were trying, they wanted to stop their kids from being obsessed with this thing that, like the cards. This is not a simple game. This is a hard thing. Kids really have to have a mental awareness and critical game theory and understand value and collecting. There's a lot, math, reading. You got to learn a lot of things to be part of this game. So, I'm surprised that there was so much resistance back in the day to it. Whereas now, parents are just dishing it out for their kids. They want their kids in the Pokemon ecosystem. There's so much value in learning how to play Pokemon. There's so much value in the games. There's so much value in the story that, there was some resistance back in the day. I remember they had, kids were saying, yeah, they banned it from my school. They took all my Pokemon cards away. It was like, so good thing that your parents encouraged you, and now you can go on to encourage your children as well.
Likewise, I'm so grateful and thankful for my parents buying me the Pokemon stuff I grew up. Those are memories that will last forever. The first question I have for you, and this could be a typical cliche question, that is, how and when did you get your first big break or start into the singing industry? Take us there.
Well, behind me is sort of the second half of my career. The first half started when I went to the Fame High School. Fame, I want to live forever. I want to learn how to fly. Hey, you know that movie and TV show and musical that got kids to go to the performing arts high school? Well, I went to that performing arts high school, and they started teaching me how to sing. Art songs and all these songs that I did not want to learn. It was like very rigid classical training. So I had some friends that I started a band with, and that band played a talent show at a junior high school when I was in the 9th grade, and we played at the 8th grade junior high school on the east side. And when I came out and I sang, "What happened here as the New York sunset disappeared," Elton John's Empty Garden. I know you know Elton John from the UK. Yeah. And the kids in the 7th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th grade went crazy, and I was hooked on performing at that point because I had such an incredible exchange of energy from this junior high school talent show, my first ever performance. And that led me to completely commit myself to the band. And the band got produced by Steve Katz from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You make me so very happy. What goes up must come down. That band, that my mom had taken me to see their concert, well, to hear their concert when I was in her womb. When I was just, you know, developing as a baby, she took me to the Blood, Sweat, and Tears concert, and I got Blood, Sweat, and then many, many years later, in 2012, I sang lead for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. When they needed a singer, I got the call. I don't even know where it is, somewhere up there. And I became the singer of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. But the band got produced by the Steve Katz. It got produced by Paul Stanley from Kiss, who's also somebody I sang for. He's on my board over here many years later. And then we got signed to Imago Records as a band called What's Up. And we made a record with Bernard Edwards. He's the bass player. Looks a little like Kwame, actually. He had, you know, Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers. They were in the band called Chic, which is good times. Mm-hmm. These are the good times, and freak out.
Oh yeah.
Freak out. He was the bass player in that band. He produced my band. Anyway, the record deal got dropped. We got dropped, and we started a public access cable TV show called the What's Up Show, where we still went around and we performed in the clubs, and then we would film ourselves and put ourselves on public access TV for this cable access show. In the meantime, I started doing jingles and started a little jingle house company where we made a fake reel of jingles. Just we wrote whatever we wanted for, I think it was AT&T. We made up an AT&T, a 7-Up commercial, an Evian commercial. And we started handing out this cassette tape of our jingles to jingle houses and music houses in New York City. And then they started hiring us to write for their projects, that they assignments they got. One of them was Lego Mania, and we won the Lego Mania campaign. We wrote that Lego Mania song together, and that Lego Mania song went on to be on like dozens of Lego commercials from 95 to 2000, which is right about the time that Pokemon happened. But I discovered all of these music houses, they needed people to write, but they needed even more people to sing. Because there would be 5 writers at a music house, and they would get an assignment, and each writer would do 3 different versions to try to win it. It's like a big audition. But those writers, they'd have to have somebody sing on all their versions, and I would just run from studio to studio singing on everybody's versions of all the different jingles, and that got me sort of circulated and stretched out in terms of all the various styles and ways I could use my voice to do different you know, rapping and singing and country and rock and classical and any style that they wanted. I would just study up, and they wanted me to sound like Stevie Wonder. Very superstitious. I would sound like Stevie Wonder. If they wanted Ray Charles, I'd be like, Georgia, Georgia, oh, they do. Whatever they wanted, I would just twist my voice into that shape and that sound, and to try to win the spot for the producer, or if I was writing it, to win the spot for myself. And that is basically what led to the Pokemon theme song being one of the sessions, many sessions that I did for a company that I also did Domino's Pizza Delivers and a couple of the other jingles that we were writing for them at the time. So yeah, and I continue to do that kind of work for brands that come to me and they want a certain song to sound like a thing. Now they come to me because they want to be the next Pokemon. It's a card game, they want to be the next Pokemon, or a video game and they want to be the next Pokemon, and they want my Pokemon sound. But oftentimes there'll be other projects where they want a totally different sound, and I'll write and produce and perform whatever serves the project. And I write and produce and perform my own music, which is serving my emotional centers, to serving my artist, to reveal, myself through song, at the same time as serving you guys on interviews, to give you what you want. This is the dope interview right here. Answer these questions the right way. Get people involved.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we'll get more people here anyway, and don't worry.
Come on, bring it on.
Making sure my girlfriend gets here. Even though she's been here before anyway, but she will get her second chance.
Chris, you had a question?
What are some of your methods and preparations that you do before performing a song?
I had a really good teacher in NYU, and I was studying jazz voice at NYU. And he and his wife were performers in the world, and they said, you warm up on your first song. So I try to do a little bit of singing. I'm only singing one song, then I'll do a little singing beforehand, walking around singing, and then I'll just sing when I get up there. If I have multiple songs, then I have my first song be a warm up. We're using our voices all the time, and singing is not much different than speaking. If you're coming from the right place, if you're emotionally connected, if you're saying something that's true, and you mean it, then you're producing your voice the right way. When you are telling a lie, or you are saying something that's not quite right, your voice will be the first place that will show tension and sort of, get interrupted. So when I'm singing things that I'm not connected to, I find I have the most vocal problems. If I'm doing a project for somebody I've accepted a job that I don't quite think is the right thing, but I have to do it anyway, I'll find that I have problems with my voice. So I feel like the voice is an extremely emotional, connected instrument. Babies don't lose their voices. They cry all day long, screaming, yelling, crying, using their voices at extreme levels, and they don't lose their voices. I do also find that consuming alcohol and certain substances will dry the voice out. Certainly smoking and drinking is bad for the voice, but I try to just be as connected as possible. That's my warm-up, is be as present and honest as possible. Don't baby your voice or it acts like a baby.
Very cool and very fair. Kwame, your question?
All right, let me see. There we go. Do you have any memories of your audition for Pokemon?
Well, all of these sessions, as I explained before, they are all sort of paid auditions. So whenever you go in to do one of these things, the Jingle House is already getting paid by the client to do these demos, and then the Jingle House producer is going to pay the musicians and the singers to come in and sing. So everything in life is an audition in a way. That was just a paid audition for the next level. You come in, you try to hit it out of the park, and we hit it almost out of the park. But there was one thing wrong. It was catch him if you can, Pokemon. Catch him if you can. Just, got caught by the right fielder and got out. And he was like, nope, we're going to go back to the drawing board. Catch him if you can became Gotta Catch 'Em All. We re-recorded that, and that was the one that went out to the Grand Slam and became the phenomenon that it was. And then, of course, about 6-8 months later, they wanted to make the song into a full single, and that became the single on the To Be a Master record with the second verse and the guitar solo and the last chorus, and I'm on the road to Viridian City, another song that I sang on that record. And then there are a whole bunch of other great songs on that record that I didn't sing, but that album was a #1 Billboard kids charting album. So that everything's a paid audition. So that was what I remember. I remember before we sang it, they played the Pokemon Japanese TV show, and we were looking at it on the screen and thought, okay, that's what it's for. We don't understand what's going on. We're just watching it. And it kind of looked like Speed Racer. So I was like, okay, it's kind of like Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
That was my jam when I was a kid. So
Me too, especially the movie and the video and the game.
Yeah, I love the
Speed Racer.
yeah, he's great.
Damn straight.
Chris, you had a second question?
Oh, yeah, let's see. Memories of working with The Rock and filming the Poke Rock.
Yes, that's so
well, The Rock had just started his YouTube channel at that point, and he was getting content. And of course, he did the smartest thing. He got crazy Pokemon Go dudes that had millions of followers to make a Poke Rock, so that, you know, and that went on their channel, and it drove all the traffic to him. And then he was like, yeah, let's get the Pokemon theme song guy. I never actually was in the same room with him when it happened, because he didn't need to be anywhere. It was just all done. I did my part in my studio here, and then I went to another studio to record the visual part of it, and they mixed it all together. Just like, I'm sure, you know, they whoever programmed the Poke Rock into that Pokemon Go game, you know, he didn't have to be there for that, but he did it. It was really smart and a really funny video as well. And I'm really glad that he made the lyric video afterwards and put me in it visually, so it wasn't just the end of the Pokemon Go dudes video, but it became an actual video on his channel. Yeah, that dude, he's next level. I really respect what he does in his career, and he gets crazy and silly too, and as evidenced by the lyrics in that song.
Pokemon Go actually came out in 2016, didn't it?
Correct.
I just remember it being 2016.
Well,
yeah, I didn't think it was that recent.
That was when the Pokemon Go generation had reached come of age. They were now adults with disposable incomes and all this Pokemon knowledge, but nowhere to put it. And then Pokemon Go, what an incredible invention that was, to take advantage of all this enthusiasm, this nostalgia, this actual knowledge, all the insight. Like I said, the games are very complicated, and all the people that play the games, they have nothing to do. They can't be playing the games now when they're, 21 years old, but they can play Pokemon Go and take advantage of all their knowledge and insight about how to capture Pokemon and collect them, and all the different things about each Pokemon that only they knew. Really cool, really cool.
Absolutely. And Mr. Paige, I actually have the Poke Rock song. Can I play it for you guys?
Yeah.
Rock it out. I've never heard of this Pokemon rock before, but go ahead.
Poke Rock.
Here it goes. Oh, sorry, we got ads.
I hear it.
Hold on. Sorry about that. Just gotta wait 5 seconds. YouTube ads. Dang.
Oh.
Yeah. All right,
you'd be able to show us the video itself.
Here we go.
Such an asshole. All right. The very best, like no one ever was. Shit like all the rest. Poke Rock is the cause. His muscles are so damn big. They are no match for me.
It's a parody.
It's just the best, and I'm just for me. Poke Rock, that's all you need. You get the answer from me. I just can't win when I smell. That's all the chance. When I see him, my pants hit damn. That's it, so
ridiculous.
What'd you think?
Ridiculous.
That was awesome. Another person that you did collaboration with, Mr. Paige, and he's one of my favorites too, is Jonathan Young. I wanted to get your memories working with Jonathan Young and doing the metal cover of the Pokemon theme song, because I thought it was epic.
Yeah, that dude is great. He's super talented. When he said he's doing a metal cover, I was like, all right, let me check it out. He sent me the track and I was like, wow, this is excellent. Another guy with a lot of followers, big bump to my social media at the time. And also, you know, he's really prolific. So he's constantly churning it out. He had done made a whole album of Pokemon songs. Pokémon, I think it's called. And I went down to his spot in San Diego and made this epic video with a drone camera flying around on the side of the mountain. And the guy's voice is incredible. So I had to bump that track up to the next level. He had key changes going on. So when I sang that thing, I really tried to hit it even harder, and it's one of my favorite covers of any of the Pokemon covers that I've done for sure. I think it's still my favorite, and I get more comments about that collaboration than any other collab that I've done at Comic-Cons and interviews, and people love that guy, and I certainly know why. He's a really, really, really nice dude too.
Awesome. And another guy
And he plays all the instruments. Like, he's not, you know, just a great singer. He's a mad drummer too. And
oh yeah, I've seen what he can do. I love his music.
Me too. He's excellent. I loved his Arabian Nights when he did Aladdin. Arabian Nights, that was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, everything he does is incredible.
Did you, Mr. Page? Did you hear the cover version of a singer named Palike? He did the Pokemon theme song as well, and he's Kwame knows who he is. Like, I'll send you a link to it too. He's also very good.
No, I've never heard that. He's great at doing Power Rangers, honestly, especially when he did Super Sentai, and I did hear him do Pokemon as well. When honestly, he's got great voice.
Yeah, hit me up with that. Hit me up with that. I love to hear it.
I promise I'll send it to the email. I promise. And before we get to some of our final questions, though, I just want to say, like, you're like, when you sang the Pokemon theme song, one of my favorite lines that you do, and I feel the fire, I feel the passion when you sing the Pokemon theme song. I feel the passion, I feel the fire. When my favorite line that you do in that song is when you go, yeah, and you hear the guitar riff. That's my favorite part of that song.
Yeah.
Such a great.
Now, I was at Count. By the way, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be an amazing 2024.
Happy New Year.
I was at a thing called Insomnia Countdown in San Bernardino, outside of Los Angeles, and this DJ named Airglow did a drum and bass style Pokemon theme song and remix, and he pulled me up on stage to sing it at this incredible festival, and that part was in there. Like, he put that like 5 times at the end. It was so cool.
Oh man, it was some of the best. Like, you just have that voice. You're like just the voice of a god. Like, I can honestly say, like, you know, your voice makes, like, mine, Kwame, and Chris, you make us melt, because that's how great you are.
Something of a power ballad, if you will.
Oh yeah.
We have our final questions though. Kwame, do you have any final comments or questions for Mr. Page?
Oh wait, yeah. Our last bits. Okay. Yeah, because it's gonna be a bit of a running gag, like I always say. Peter knows where this is going anyway.
Go ahead, ask it.
So, how does it feel to be a legend?
You know, I feel what people bring to me. I have profound gratitude for all the time and energy that you guys have spent in your Pokemon ecosystem. I am beginning to learn about it only since 2016 that I have any interest in it, besides, you know, having sung it and really committing to the performance of it. But since then, I've been going to events and I've been meeting people, and I am learning and understanding all of the cool stuff that you guys have had 25 years of. I'm on the 6th, 7th year of it. And there's so much more for me to go. There's so much more knowledge. There's so much more artwork for me to experience. There's so much more music for me to experience. It's this incredible ecosystem of love from the people who grew up on it, creating these new things, these new businesses, these blogs, these channels, this music, this artwork, these cosplays, these events, these games. There's so many things, and I'm just enjoying what people have enjoyed for 25 years. And so I just have profound gratitude for you guys I'm trying to catch up, to the, and I understand this legendary status, but the legend is you, because you're the one that put that time and energy into it. I am now trying to catch up. I feel like I'm legendary for all the time I put into all these things combined. But it happens to be there's one thing that you put all this time into that attaches the word legend to my name.
Bless your heart, sir. And like you are a legend. Like we all feel that way. And because the clock says we have 5 minutes left. Chris, final comments or questions?
So have you yourself actually played any of the Pokemon games?
Pokemon Go and a little Pokemon Unite. And I sat down at a card game once at a tournament, and the dude was just leading me through, and I was like, I took some pretty complicated classes in college, and this needs a class. This is a college level class that I was taking with this dude, the way he was playing. It was overwhelming. So I never got past that. That I already went to college. I don't need to go take another class just to learn how to play this game. I want to be able to get on there and play right away. He was like, "Oh no. This is how this goes." And this, I'm like, "Well, why did he put that?" He's like, "Oh, you don't understand." It just went through this whole long litany of why. And this is the amazing thing about it. It takes this critical game thinking. You got to have critical thinking, basically, to figure out all the various possibilities to a certain action. And this is very important in our lives, because everything we do can lead to a myriad of opportunities and choices and conclusions. So you have to be very careful what you do. And the Pokemon player is thinking about that. He's thinking many moves ahead, which is really cool. But that's after I take the college course. I got a lot of time to invest. I'm trying to catch up to you guys, but not that much.
I mean, I guess it's no different from Magic the Gathering, or even just something a little less advanced, like chess, whereas you just gotta learn the rules as you go, and the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah, except they keep on making more Pokemon with more different levels and more powers, and I mean, I guess it's all basically the same, but just more of them.
I think that's the same with Magic the Gathering, where they also just make more different cards with more different powers.
Yeah.
Mr. Paige, I have one final comment before we wrap up. First of all, I just want to thank you for not only a great interview given us, but I want to thank you for those memories you gave Chris, Kwame, and I watching Pokemon, listening to the theme song. You have this, I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but you have this incredible gift where you can take a 30-something-year-old fan, bring him way down here, and make him feel like that 9-year-old listening to the Pokemon theme song and just having a blast, just watching one of the favorite shows of all time. Not only that, I also want to say thank you to Headless Media for making this happen. And I was wondering if there's ever a possibility we can have you on for a potential second interview.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love doing these interviews, you guys. You guys are great. It's a great way to spread the love and and create more awareness, because still in the Pokemon ecosystem, I estimate 2 billion Pokemon fans, 30% of the entire Earth's population. There's 1 billion people playing Pokemon Go. So we know there's got to be twice as many people that actually know Pokemon and are Pokemon fans. And out of those 2 billion people, there's still a very, very, very small amount of people that even know who I am, have thought about it. And when they think about it, because of shows like this, they have this feeling of nostalgia that gets released inside, the joy that you said, taking somebody back to that 9-year-old. And you guys are helping to do that with this interview. I can tell somebody and then they have that feeling. But before that, I'm just a normal dude standing in front of them. And when I tell them who I am, most likely 30% of the Earth's population will have this feeling. So you can release that power that's inside of everybody, waiting to be burst open and have these joyous feelings of nostalgia, which is, it's a thing that's not around very much anymore. There's not any ecosystems that really attract this kind of attention. And but I'm glad that you guys were there, and you feel the power that's inside and are really helping the rest of the world release it by sharing this video. I'll share it as well on my social.
Bless you, sir. Two things before we wrap up. First of all, I just want to say I think I should do a parody. Like for every person I interview, I should say, "Gotta interview them all. Gotta interview them all."
You should if you want it.
Can I
Interview them all?
interview them all? Also, last thing, and I feel like you deserve this. I wait a long time to do this, guys. You know, this is the part of the show, and this is the part we want to thank you, and we want to thank you in the most honorable way, and that is thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
Thank you, Jason.
Thank
Thank you, Jason.
I can't wait to have you on in the future. Like, it was an honor, sir.
Thank
It
you,
was
Peter,
super
Kwame, and Chris. You guys have been incredible. I can't wait to share this with my socials. We'll get everybody to see it and follow you guys. Come on.
Let's
Keep
do
up the
it.
good work.
Part 2 this year. All right, everyone, have a great night. It was awesome talking to everyone.
Excellent, you guys. And this is the voice of a generation signing off.
Take care.
There you go. I see it. Yeah, I saw it.
Awesome.
I see it.
Yeah,